I am of the earth, and I ground myself to the earth. I am of the stars, and I honor you, cosmic mother of all that is. I honor my guards and guardians, and I call to thee, may you please be with me in this moment as I make this ceremony testimonial of the fair folks. I humbly invite thee, my guards and guardians, may you please be with me. And I honor you, the mineral beings, you who it is because of you, the technology that we have, the devices that we have. I honor the web of life at large for making it possible for us to have portals like these to communicate with one another. I honor you, element of air, fire, water, ether, spirit. Thank you, all of you, for being a pivotal part of this journey of walking with spirit. I honor this blessed land which I am dwelling upon, that cradles and cuddles me and nourishes me in more ways than one. I am grateful. I honor my guards and guardians of my African and European elders. Thank you all. Now, as mentioned, this ceremony / testimony is in honor of the fair folks. This blessed day, here where I am graced with the bounty of rain, and right now it is raining. So yeah, I feel that is noteworthy to mention for some reason. As you heard me mention, this ceremony, testimony, is in honor of the beloved beings, the energy beings that we know to call fair folks. Some call them Fae. And I am their kin. That is a beautiful thing. And there is not going to be any particular order of this ceremony or testimony. Like, I typically prefer to do the ceremony in the beginning and then the testimony at the end. Oftentimes though, I find weaving the testimony therein is just so intricate and beautiful. So firstly, the ceremony. I'm so grateful that you, the elemental elders, you go by so many names. In many cultures, you're called differently. Some call you elemental beings. Some call you Fae. Some call you Contumble. Some call you the little people. Some call you house fairies. I have come to remember thee, and I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your sweet ways. You teachers of me and we. You are my teachers, you're my elders, and you're so inspiring in ways that I can be a better member to my collective brethren of humankind. Yeah, you actually inspire that in me, so I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. And I love that wherever I be, in the forest, the blessedness of you dwells and is also part. Whether I be by the waterside, the blessedness of you dwells there, and I love that. When I'm flying, taking a trip with via an airplane, You dwell in the sky, of the clouds, and in other ways. I love that. I love these many ways that you are intricate and integral to me and we, because that means I can continuously connect with you. And I love that. I don't feel like a stranger when I take a trip to the mountains, because I get to acknowledge the beings there of Fae at the mountainside. And I love that. I love that wherever I travel to, you be there. And I love also that you are of the land. I appreciate that the wisdom of you has allowed you to be our teachers, to me and we, humankind. You are teachers to us, and you've taught me so many things in subtle, beautiful, intricate, intimate ways. I'm grateful. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for guiding me. And thank you for speaking to me to remember my rightful place, to remember that which loves, nourishes, protects me and we. Thank you so much for holding space while I was going through exploring and eventually finding my way to where I belong. You go by many names. It matters to me. But what I know thee as is you are alive, you are generous, you are wise, you're loving, you're protective, you're funny, you inspire creativity, and your teachings are so amazing. It helps breathe life where life is needed. Thank you. Thank you, fair folks. Fair folks. That name is so fitting. I love it. They go by so many names. In this recording, I shall choose to speak to fair folks, that aspect of title, I believe. Fair folks, the beings that we know as Fae, fair folks. I'm grateful that I reincarnated in West Africa because thankfully I avoided the straitjacket. I avoided the multitude of medicine that people are just they are put under whenever spirit, our guards and guardians. Yes, some fair folks are my guards and guardians too, which is why this video is just so amazing, and this testimonial recording ceremony is very important to me. I'm grateful that I reincarnated in West Africa because I escaped the medicine intoxication, which stems to suppress that which is pivotal. And I say that because as remembrance was happening, as perhaps it was download of me from there into here, this form, I'm grateful that I hold that memory of hearing my name called, but I couldn't see the beings that was calling my name. And I'm grateful that they continue to call my name, and I withheld from telling other people because sometimes it would go like, when I would hear my name call and the person that was sitting beside me when I was in West Africa, um, they would say, I didn't call you. Well, first I would ask them, hey, did you call me? They're like, no, I didn't call you. And it happens so often that when I withheld from asking other people if they call my name, that in my regard now is the intimate part of this journey. It's very intimate because I knew I wasn't crazy. You know, the people around me affirmed it, thankfully, in West Africa. However, you know, skewed some opinions are, there are many who remember the ancestral ways. And there are some that would remind that, oh, it's spirits that's calling you, basically. It's spirits are calling you. And they didn't go on to elaborate, but I'm so grateful that they said that, because again, it anchors, it brings something into the rightful acknowledgement that needs to be had. So there is that intimate aspect of it, you know, knowing that I wasn't crazy and there were beings, life forms that knew me and were reaching out to me. Thankfully, having traveled that path, being here in the United States, some of the very intricate, intimate ways that the fair folks, you know, that acknowledgement started to be had when I would do frequent walks in the forest, you know, just to go on hikes. I started to notice that, wait a minute, is there a face in that tree? And I would go on hikes sometimes, actually most of the time, not by myself, but with groups of people through Meetup. And, you know, the person that would be walking beside me, I would ask them, hey, do you notice that there is a face in that tree? And then they're like, I don't see it. Some people wouldn't, but sometimes some people would. In my experience, sometimes when I point it out and I'm walking with a woman, she was like, oh yeah, there's a face there in that tree. Sometimes those faces are quite astute, defined, where you can actually see there is a, maybe not a face, sorry, let me just say, expression, like an expression in a tree, sometimes a tree stump, tree trunk. So that too was another way that beautifulness started to happen. It was like, okay, I'm seeing expressions in these trees. Okay, oh wow, okay, that's nice. I didn't think that was a thing. Now, mind you, I didn't go on to get on the web and research about anything. And I love that my interactions with life of fair folks has been this intimate and just very beautiful, okay? Because I think if I had gotten on the web to, like, you know, research some things or look further into it, that would have put some type of barrier that that makes things a little bit questioning, makes it more difficult. Like, it's like you're questioning your family member. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You are born into a family. I'm just giving that example. You are born into a family, and then your parents introduce you to one another, but every time you come home, you question your sibling. Are you really? Like, I mean, some of you probably do it for fun, but what if it is not for fun? Like, this person is always questioning you whether you are related, and they are apprehensive of you, type of thing. It doesn't make good for bonding and just getting to know one another, and just, yeah, it doesn't bode well, is what I'll say, and stop there. I'm grateful that I did not get on the web And also that too was purposeful, because I noticed that however much of a spiritual awakening that was happening, it was very dispersed in certain communities, in certain groups. You know, for example, at the workplace, you might have one person that would wear their sages, wear their crystals, one person in an entire workplace. And so in observing that it was very sparse, people who were connected to the natural world, people who are receptive to the beings of life, I didn't want to go ahead and bring up that conversation to anyone, because I just didn't. I went on living my life, acknowledging and doing those activities regularly, acknowledging that, oh, I see an expression there, I see an expression there. Now behold, my awakening started to happen more deeply, more profoundly. Dreams started to become more amazing. And I say amazing because I would encounter life forms in the other world, in the dream time, but I just could not put a name to it. And I also didn't question their statures in the dream time. I didn't question, the statures of beings that I interacted with in the dream time. It was what it was. So in the waking time, apparently stuff was happening there in a beautiful, profound way. I wasn't aware. Behold, things took a beautiful turn when I moved to this house in Pennsylvania. This house, oh my goodness, the rabbits are playing in the field, the birds' presence is noon, morning, and just every which way the butterflies make their presence known. So, and a certain tree in front of the house that we were renting, I noticed there was a profound expression. And as I say that now, I feel called to honor the life form of that tree. That, yeah, I feel called to honor the being of that tree. I honor you, dear life. Thank you so much for gracing me with your beautiful smile when you did. Thank you for being there, Even as I hung or tried to climb the tree, I'm grateful that you are so receptive to my playful ways. Yes, receptive to my playful ways. Thank you for being receptive to my playful ways, and thank you for gracing me with your expression so that I can remember. I love you, sending you my love. The tree in front of that house, what I noticed about it, I'm like, oh, this tree looks a little bit not too tall. I think I can climb it. That's my thing. If a tree isn't too tall, I'm like, I want to climb that. So however many times I may have passed in front and I didn't notice it, but it gradually started to happen where I noticed there was a full expression, as if one carved out. I could see a full face, and to some extent a hat peeked through. That is the tree. As you know, if you were to carve, out of a tree, that's what it appeared to me as. I didn't go on to point this out to anyone because, like I said, you live in this part of the world, you observe people, you talk with people, you know it is what it is. It was my own intimateness to experience in that way, because every time I passed it, I was like, wait a minute, there's an expression, there's a being there. At that point in my journey, I wasn't too ignorant. I started to read and research, and information pointed to, oh, there are beings of trees, and trees that we see is life too. So in that way, I give respect to the tree, and I acknowledge that the expression, that I was seeing of the, figure, figure. The expression of the figure that I was seeing in the tree probably and could likely mean that the being that's there. So I just went on to always just look and smile back, because I believe it's his expression was just a smiley, witty smile. Now fast forward, like I said, at that time I was doing a lot of reading, I was doing a lot of meditation. I had set up my ancestral altar due to the divination I had with the African American priestesses. Please see the reverence video on African American women. So at that time, that was happening. This one pivotal moment, just, ooh, so beautiful. So this one day, I was washing dishes by the window. Oh, I honor you. I thank you. I honor you so much. There was a being, it was nighttime, and there was a being there just on the balcony, on the back porch, on the thing. And however much I couldn't make out, there was an acknowledgement that, okay, I'm not crazy. And there is a being there. There is a being there. So I wasn't startled. I just acknowledged what it was, and I was just in a state of, wow, I am seeing what I'm seeing. Now, mind you, after that one encounter, I did go on to do a little bit of looking research, just a little bit. I didn't do any deep dive into that. People educated me that, oh yes, there are house fairies. Yes, there are house fairies, like fairies that dwell in different spaces of our homes. So I acknowledged that for what it was. I was like, oh my God. And of course, it went on to mention that they just don't, check on. I believe that was what it is. They just don't check on or check out just anyone. So I was like, oh my goodness. And I cherished that moment for what it was. Yes, I cherished it for what it was, and acknowledged that, okay, I am not alone in this house, and it's absolutely okay. It's a big home, of course. Sure, let's share. And I made that acknowledgement in my heart, and I went on with my life. The country, the West African country that I'm from, there was a little bit of rumble of strife that was starting to happen. And this one night, I went to bed and I was just so worried. I was so worried. I was so worried because there are loved ones there that I care for, and I didn't know, what that meant for them. So I went, I slept, and then in between going to the bathroom that particular night and then going back to bed, I laid in bed. I was not in a dreamtime state. I say this with all validity and confirmation because I just know I wasn't. I know the difference now between when I'm having a deep dream or when I am going through trance. Yeah, when I'm going through trance, I know the difference between that. And I was as awake, but just drowsy. As I was about to lay there, sleeping, but my heart was just, like I said, worried. This beautiful being of the house, fair folk, one of the fair folks of the house was just hovering up, and what I remember was, oh, I honor you, I send you love, thank you so much. Thank you so much for checking on me in that way and making sure that I was okay. I honor you. Thank you so much. I love that you reached out to me in that way. Thank you. I honor you. I love you. This beautiful being was hovering as I was laying there, my eyes, sleepily open, and the next thing I knew, I was just telling the being that I have relatives there and they're about to do this. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. And I am so worried about them and I don't know what's going to happen. And those were the proclamations that I said. Those were the things that I said to the being. And then I proceeded to just fall asleep. That experience is so pivotal because my human folk, my humankind, my human brethren, up until experiencing some of the fair folks in this way, I have heard some things about fair folks that have not been kind, that have not been kind, that have not been kind. So I woke up, of course, I acknowledged the full encounter of what it was. A beautiful being came to check up on me. I shared this house space with this being, and of course, I am one that I will talk out loud to myself. If I'm venting something I'm worried about, I will speak out loud to the space that I'm in. It is absolutely likely that they heard me, and one of them came to check up on me. I was just so touched by that. Words cannot describe. I was touched by that. And I'm grateful that they are real, and I'm grateful they're an integral part of the journey of life. I don't know where my human brethren got this misconception that, oh, well, if you encounter, you shouldn't say something for 7 years. If you meet your friend, if you meet another human being, you don't speak about it for 7 years. So you just ignore that particular human being that doesn't exist, that they're not part of your everyday world. They are. And I'm grateful that they are real. Moving on, the journey unfolded, went on traveling, different parts of the US. And we then found ourselves into a different home in the southern part of the United States, specifically Texas. This one house that we were renting, I went in, cute little space. We went in, and the first thing that I was like, I just need to plant. And of course, this idea of planting flowers, flowers and things, like planting a natural space that is helpful to the habitat of nature is what the fair folks really like. So upon reading that and accepting that in my heart, wherever that I am, I'm planting flowers. I want the butterflies and the bees and various winged beings to come and say hi. So the moment we're there in this space in Texas, I went and ordered a bunch of roses and just put them in the earth and, did my thing there. I think it was weeks later or something like that. I believe it was in this vision, like we have different visions of us beyond this physical one. So I believe it was in that way that I was able to and have been able to see fair folks. As I was sleeping there, as we were sleeping there, I was about to turn, and then in that vision, I saw this beautiful being too, just walking on by, and of course I was drowsy, asleep, but not really asleep. I just smiled and went back to sleep, and in my heart I resonated that, oh, you came to check me out, you came to check up on me. Because like I said, everywhere I am, I like to plant flowers. I like to plant parts of life that attracts life. I love that. I want to interact with life. I want to interact with the butterflies, the bees. And if the fair folks like the flowers that I plant, then That's all well and good. So I smiled and went back to sleep when I saw in my other vision that, oh, okay, a fairfolk came to check me out. The journey from there, as they say, is her story. Encounter has been beautiful, and come to find in upon going within, upon sitting and just doing the roots work, the clearing work, and learning more of my ancestors beyond the humankind ancestors. These beautiful beings of life are me and we ancestors. And I'm so grateful they are real. Like I said, in the forest, by the waterside, hiking up a mountain somewhere, I'm grateful that they are everywhere. Because I don't know about the rest of my brothers and sisters, I want to be around wise ones that can guide me on the rightful way towards peace, towards ease, towards healing. And I'm grateful that their wisdom has and continues to be an impactful beautifulness in this lifetime for me. I'm really grateful for that. There are also other intimate moments that I prefer not to share here. I think I've shared a good bit. It's just the acknowledgement is there. The reality of the life that is the fair folk is there. And like I said, I'm grateful that the beings of the water that we call fairies, they are alive, and I send intentions of hoping that they are good. Yeah. I honor you. I honor you. The fairy beings of the water, the life of the water that we know to call elementals. You, the life of the water, in the many shapes and forms that you come in. Thank you. Thank you for protecting me and we. Thank you for providing support to humankind. I honor you. I honor you. This concludes the ceremony and testimony of the fair folk. And on this platform, I share about having a healthy accord. As I mentioned, wherever I be, the acknowledgement of their existence, of their wisdom permeates and exists. In my belief, that is a healthy accord. The natural world has its rules and regulation and has its levels. And acknowledging that has brought me healing, actually. Yes. Acknowledging what is real, what is, has brought healing. So a healthy accord, we acknowledge what is, what pours into us. In my belief, I don't make rain. The beings of the clouds do that, you know? And I'm grateful that that healthy accord exists in nature. Heal thyself accordingly. Create a health with the natural world in your own unique way. And this story, this reality is to acknowledge, to honor the beings of the fair folk. Thank you for taking the time to listen and view this content. May you be well.